Sorry to pull you away from the roller, but I have a little spider on my dash here. Tiny little one. I like to watch them when they're on the dash because, oh, that's a bearded woodpecker calling behind us. They'll often use the wind to create a little parachute with their silk to catch the wind and then go off. And it's really interesting to watch. I'm hoping it will do it. They'll pop their abdomens up, release a little bit of silk, and off they go. I have no idea what this little spider is. It is tiny, tiny, tiny. Don't you want to catch the wind, little fellow? There's a nice breeze. Come on. Looks like he wants to stick around and co-host with me. Let's see how long that lasts. Well, I'm going to keep my eye out for this bearded woodpecker that's calling. Hopefully I'll find it.
Welcome back to our elephants in the river, everybody. And there was quite a bit of competition over the tree that they pushed over before. And the big dominant female did a bit of screaming and shouting at everybody else who was trying to feed on the tree that she pushed over. And now they've moved on to the grass. So look at this technique. The youngster finds the grass that it wants, wraps its trunk around and kicks it. That pulls it out the ground. It hits it against the body, removing the soil. And then the animal eats the grass as well as the roots. And grasses, as we've discussed before, are all well adapted to fire. So they take their nutrients into the soil. That's why when you ever see what looks to be dead grass, and you water it, it grows green very quickly afterwards. Many grasses, most grasses around the world have evolved with fire. And so they'll go through dormant periods where they just take everything down into the ground. And then as soon as there's rain, back to life they come. And so elephants are very aware of that. And that is what they're looking for right now. Oh, little armpit scratch. When you don't have fingers, everybody, you make do with all sorts of objects around the house, don't you? I find myself scratching my back sometimes with the cupboard. Elephants don't have fingers, everybody, so they use trees and stumps to get those hard-to-reach places. So we're going to move on from our elephants in the river. Let's see what else we can find.
we maneuvered our way around from where the lions were last, and that other Ross male went and he decided to go and lie down at the back of the pride as well as the young male. So look right in front of us here. You'll notice all the lions. There's actually one on his way to come and join up. So let's stick with these ones, because it looks like that young white male is now moving from that little bit of meat or that carcass he had earlier to come and join up with the rest. There's one of the young cubs, the young male that's just gotten up. You can see his sisters right in front of him. You can hear the movement now just behind me as we speak. There's that young male coming in. So have a look when he joins up with the rest of the pride. Wow, that looks very, very comfortable. Look at the young brother now, how he's just put his left paw on top of his sister. Now, sister, also the other female that's there, looks like it's hugging its sister. So see the leg goes over the head, and then look at the young male, how he's put his paw on top of his sister as well. It's absolutely adorable to watch. And just listen to how peaceful it is if you listen out to the wind. You can almost hear these lions breathing.
We didn't manage to find the woodpecker, but we did find this little bee eater. There's quite a few of them around. I love watching them. They're very reliable birds. If you want to take a good picture of a bird, they're a great one to watch, because they tend to return to the same perch after they've flown about to hunt for bees and wasps and other flying insects. Aren't those colors just marvelous? Love the blue eyeshadow. This is the world's smallest bee eater. Yes, you. It's only about 15 grams. We were lucky enough to see one actually eating a bee a few drives back. You see how they rub the bee onto their nearest branch, or whatever they perched on, to get the sting off and then gobble it up. Since this one is actively hunting, maybe we'll see it again. Their muscles must rework so fast. Fast twitch fibers must be on fire. Look at the head, almost jerky, because they move so quickly. Oh, almost lost its balance. It's returning. They remind me of a green mango. Not quite ripe yet, but starting to ripen. There's that bearded woodpecker calling again. The Malwati is just great for birds. That's why I like to hang around here. Ooh, that looks like a good one. Did you get anything? Not yet. Long, thin beak that's just perfect to use as pincers to grab those aerial insects in flight.
Welcome back. We are just down the road from Trishana and we've got ourselves a Burchell's starling. Now, the Burchell starling is easily identified from the other starlings in the area. You see it's got a black eye and it's got a little bit of a long tail. So quite glossy, the blue, very glossy. They're part of the glossy starlings. The other two we get is the Cape glossy and the greater blue-eared that we get here. And both of them have got a very bright orange eye, so not to be confused. Okay, now this one is looking for insects that the elephants are disturbing. Elephants moving through the undergrowth here. We spoke about facilitation before by the elephant busy pushing over the tree and facilitating the feeding for the other elephants and other animals. Now, right where the starling is looking is where those young elephants were kicking the soil and pulling up the grass by the roots. And by disturbing the soil, what you're doing is you are turning the soil over and you are providing or revealing insects that the elephant wasn't after, but a bird like this most certainly is. So another form of facilitation that this bird is managing to benefit from. At the same time, when the elephant's moving through the vegetation, they also disturb insects, which they are then able to catch, because many of the insects are extremely camouflaged. So many of you are commenting on how beautiful the coloration is. Yes, indeed. There are carotenoids in the feathers that are add a reflection. When the light is in the right angle, they reflect back this beautiful blue. That is the elephant's tail, you see, swinging above. And then when they're in the wrong angle, the light, if it's coming from the wrong angle, they look completely black in color. So no doubt the glossiness helps them in retaining, or should I say avoiding, getting too hot. They are a bird that's very busy here in the summer months, throughout the year actually. They're always out and about. And one of the biggest issues animals have in these areas is trying to not get too warm. A very nice energy efficient way of getting food. Is it gone? It's on the floor again. There we go. This is either him or a friend that just arrived. See, look at all that. All the insects that have been turned over by the soil. So there's a bit of disturbance there. When, what is that? I don't know what it is. When the roots of the grass are pulled out, you've probably tried that at home before. You take some grass and you pull it out. Huge amounts of soil gets moved with it. And there can be many, many, many organisms that are then pulled onto the surface. And this bird is maximizing on that.
Welcome to the Mara River. I am here, all packed and ready to give you updates on exactly what's happening here at the river. I have the residents, as usual, crocodiles, and maybe hippos are hiding underwater. I can't see them at the moment. but they are somewhere there. The river is even much faster today, more browner. Yeah, the hippos are hiding somewhere. I can't see them. And the rapids are even, rough and tough today. Yeah, remember, this is the main source of livelihood for most animals that exist in the Masai Mara. From the elephants, the hippos, the buffaloes, the lions, everybody, the top is the giraffes, depend on this river in the very dry time. When I talk about dry, remember we have 2 seasons in the Mara. Unlike other places where they have autumn, spring, summer and winter, here we have only dry and wet. Our dry season starts now all the way to the middle of November. Then we have shorty rains all the way to February, and the rest from February to March, end of March, is also another long dry spell. Then from April to June, July, it's another very long wet season. Right now we're at the beginning of dry, and that's when all animals come here. Those are 2 massive Nile crocodiles, the inhabitants and the super predators of these waters. Remember this, prehistoric reptilian reptiles have, been roaming in these waters and rivers of Africa for over 60 million years. It's one of the only few predators that considers man as a source of food. So here we don't swim, and we are also very careful about plight. You say what types of crocodiles we get in Kenya? The one and only one, the Nile crocodile, is the one we get in Africa, in Kenya and in East Africa. These 2 are fully grown. I would estimate, looking at them, they must be over 50 years. They do grow much darker as they age. Their heads become very stout, and those 2 are males. Looking at the head, usually females are much more pointed and less, they're much more colorful. You see spots of yellow and dark spots. These ones are males, I would say. Are good. The one farthest, the one we can see all the way to the tail, I would give him a good maybe 19 feet easy. He's very long and could weigh up to even 800 kilos. These guys, remember, this time of the year, they really feed on those animals crossing, and then they can go for a very long time without eating. Remember, this is coming live from the Masai Mara. Talk to us on hashtag CGTNWild, hashtag WildEarth. That's a place you want to ask questions. I have other guides, situated in Southern Africa. I have my colleague David somewhere in the Mara. In case I cannot answer you, they will be able to answer you. I'm staying here at the river, enjoying the calm sounds of the Mara. Can you hear it? That's the sound of the water that I am getting from where I am. I don't know if you heard it. Yeah, that is the sound. When you stay where I am, if you don't talk, you might snooze, you might sleep. If you don't have something to read, you might snooze. The other residents, the hippos, the same time as now, they're normally out, but today looks like they've gone on strike. Actually, I don't see very many of them around here, so I don't know what happened. Maybe yesterday they have a domestic quarrel, and they decided that they didn't want to be the dog, to be around. I see only one, but he's very shy. He keeps, showing off his head, and then he disappears into the water quite fast. He's somewhere there. James is gonna find him for you. He's somewhere there.
Have a look at these young two cubs right next to each other. You'll notice that the sister has gone and creeped in a little bit closer to the other one. See, her chin's quite close to that bigger female off to the left chin, but this young male, early on, it was so cute. He was lying down with his leg over his sister, but they are so relaxed. That other white male came and joined up with the rest of the pride, and he's just lying down between that young male and that big Ross male at the back. But all of them, I'm just trying to count, but what I can see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lions lying down there, right in front of us. Now, what I wonder that could have happened here is because today's an overcast day and the wind was blowing quite strong last night, as these lions were probably moving in this area. I just want to see if there's another. Oh, there is another lion that just got up. That's why they are all lifting their heads just to have a look. But you know how interesting it is? I mean, that lion stood up at the back where we can't even see him, and immediately these ones knew that there was something happening. It just shows you how alert they are of what's going on around them. But so, when they started moving through this dense area, they probably smelled either wildebeest, could have been in Ngala, something that could have moved into this dense area for a bit of cover out of the wind and out of the cold. And that's when these lions found it. And after that, they decided to come and lie down here. Now, the one cub also picked up its head. See, that's the young male we saw earlier that was feeding. And then all of them lowering down their heads. So he's the only one that has his head up. See how he's picking up his head, pointing his nose forward up into there. That's him just smelling. Remember, we had that question earlier about what senses would be the best. So they constantly smell and listen to what's going on around them. Bianca, white lions aren't a common thing to see in the wild. Especially in order to get a white lion, both the males and the females have to carry the recessive gene for that white. And I mean, like if you go and research it, there's not a lot of places that you will be able to see it. There are some private reserves that will focus on white lions, but in naturally occurring areas, there's very few individuals that you'll be able to see, especially with wild prides. In this area, though, there has been records and there has been mentions of some of the Shangans telling the story from one generation to another that they reckon that white lions were seen as far as 400 years ago within the area. But what's quite amazing is to be able to see two white lions in one view, like we can see now. That's really special, and not just can't just see it just anywhere. So one of the lions in the back is chewing a bone, and that crunching noise is what made all of these lift their heads to have a look. Such a beautiful scene to watch, because you'll notice right next to that white male, there's another male that's picked up his head with a little bit of fluff around his chin. Now those two are are brothers, and it's incredible that that young male decided to go and lie down right next to his brother. It just shows you that bond that they have, and eventually when they get kicked out of the pride, they most likely will stick together and form a coalition, like these two Ross males. Unless there's other males that also join up, but if they get kicked out at the same time, we'll know that they'll be together.
I promise there's a green wood hoopoo in there. There we go. I love these birds so much. That bull is so beautiful. Oh, what have you got there? Looks like they're looking for beetle larvae that grow underneath the bark. Actually look like you might have a bee. Let's see if it pulls. If it pulls another one out there, it's definitely a beetle larvae. Oh, it's having a great time on this tree. Sometimes I'll rub the insect against the tree to also just kill it, because I suppose it's not nice to have something wiggling as you swallow. And you see the little bee eater that we had just earlier does a similar thing, but in order to get the sting off of a bee. Oh, very busy. There they are at the base of that tree. There is, oh, there we go. Look at that work. You can see just why a beak like that is so useful for the type of food that they're after. You can really get it in between there, just like that, between the outer bark and the inner bark. So busy. I love to watch them. Just love it. Hopefully we'll find some more birds and we can watch them do their thing too.
Hello and welcome back to the Mara. I'm still here at the river. I'm looking at this yellow-billed stock, fishing and getting deeper and deeper into the water. And I am wondering, is it gonna fish or is it gonna get fished? It's hard to say. Maybe I'm loading my mind with too much thoughts. Maybe he knows what he's doing. But definitely it's fishing. Looks like it knows what it's doing because it has retreated back. It's not getting deeper and deeper into the water. And hopefully it survives. On top, left there, I have two toppies. They're looking like they want to cross, but something has told them, maybe it's too dangerous. It's hard to say anything right now, if they're going to or not. But the main aim there here is not to drink, because there is plenty of water out there in the plains. So definitely they're here to cross. And I'm gonna sit here and wait for them to cross as I get, soothed by the sounds of the water rapids, that little, miniature waterfall there. There are lots of rapids, making me really sleepy, but I'm not sleeping because I want to see these guys cross. Looks like they have decided this is not the crossing they're going to use, and they're headed out. James will share that with you. They have decided to head out. Yeah, remember, it's not always that when they come, they will go. This river reminds them of a lot of things, dangerous things. They can come and stay there for a minute and then decide they're going to go. They can come and decide to go back immediately. So it's always unpredictable. They're coming back. Okay, at this crossing, nobody is here apart from me. Hopefully they do cross. Nothing special about that, but it does happen that you're sometimes alone here at the crossing. Okay, I think I'm gonna monitor them, and I'm sure if they do cross, my director will give me the privilege to share them with you.
Thanks, Isaac. From Topis to Impalas and Nyala into action here in the Great Kruger National Park once again. There's a Nyala bull just exerting his dominance on this herd of impala. But let's have a look at these two boys in the middle of frame here, BK, sorry. The middle of the road. There they are. These two male impala are doing something known as allo grooming. Here we go. I want you to groom my neck right over there. Yes, right there. One will groom, and the other one will reciprocate, normally in the exact same spot. There we go. That's where I want it. Now, it's hard for impala to groom themselves on their neck. They can pretty much get everywhere else on their body, but the head and neck area is a bit of a tricky place to do. And it's a very important place to groom because that area is often a very, very hot spot for ticks because of the blood network and the potential warmth. And so grooming in this form, allo grooming, forms bonds and also helps for each other to help each other eradicate ticks that possibly oxpeckers weren't able to get. Two little friends here doing what they do. 2-year-old impalas, or should I say last year's, not last year November, but the year November before. Their horns, the same size. They are the same age. There we go, right on the forehead. The third eye, please. Oh, no, I want it on the chin. That's very cool to see this sort of behavior. Oh, a little bit of a cheek. And Bernice, they are so social. You'll notice, and that's when we start noticing the end of the official rutting season. Oh, hang on.